Listen, we're in a society run by cowards, and cowards censor words that scare them. Big, scary words. People saying smart things that destroy their narrative. Banned, banned, banned. Hitler did it. The left's doing it right now. They did it to Dr. Robert Malone. Dr. Robert Malone was on Rogan, and he told him that the United States is in mass formation psychosis over COVID-19. All right, we're going to talk about what that is. Let's go through the article a little bit. Key mRNA contributor, Dr. Robert Malone, a prominent skeptic of mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations. Let me actually change the little thing up here. Hold on. There it is. There you see him right there, by the way. Who does he look like? It's kind of Robin Williams-y. I've got to say, Dr. Robert Malone kind of has that Robin Williams Jumanji thing going for him. I don't know what else to say. I could say he kind of looks like a monkey, but then somebody's going to call me racist, even though he's a white guy. But, that's the world we're living in. Anyway, key mRNA contributor Dr. Robert Malone, a prominent skeptic of mandatory COVID-19 vaccines, suggested to popular podcaster Joe Rogan days after Malone was suspended from Twitter during an interview that the United States is in the midst of a mass formation psychosis. And if I had a producer, there would be a sound effect right now that went dong, dong, dong. So instead, I'll just do it with my mouth. Our government is out of control on this, Malone said about vaccine mandates in the Joe Rogan Experience interview, which was released over the weekend. And they are lawless. They completely disregard bioethics. They completely disregard the federal common rule. They've broken all the rules that I know of, and I've been trained in for years and years and years. Malone, an expert in mRNA vaccine technologies who received training at the University of California, UC Davis, San Diego, and the Salk Institute, was banned by Twitter the other week. Malone told the Epic Times last week that Twitter offered no explanation for why his account, which had amassed 500,000 followers, was suspended. A spokesperson for Twitter told the left-wing Daily Dot outlet that Malone's account was permanently suspended for repeated violations of our COVID-19 misinformation policy. Per the strike system outlined here, we will permanently suspend accounts for repeated violations of this policy. Twitter hadn't responded to any Epic Times request for comment on Malone's suspension. So you see, Twitter, big tech, in conjunction with Democrats, in conjunction with big pharma, in conjunction with all of these evil entities and global elites, censored one of the creators, the patent holders for the technology of mRNA vaccination, all because they didn't agree with what he had to say. Free speech, my friends, free speech is dead on the internet, on the web. Free speech, my friends, we must get back. I don't know the rest. I just made that rhyme up. Anyway, these mandates are explicitly illegal and are explicitly inconsistent with the Nuremberg Code, Malone said during his interview with Rogan, referring to the set of research ethics principles against human experimentation. They are explicitly inconsistent with the Belmont Report, he said, referring to the 1978 report published in the Federal Registrar regarding ethical principles and guidelines for research involving human subjects. They are flat out illegal and they don't care. And don't think for 1 second he's lying to you. Don't. This is an experimental vaccine. It truly is. Go look it up. It really is. All right. And do you really think they wouldn't experiment on you? All right. Didn't the government experiment on African Americans with syphilis? Didn't the government experiment on people with LSD? Didn't the government experiment on its own people with anthrax? Didn't the government false flag to start Vietnam? I mean, didn't the government do things in South America, Central America, CIA, FBI? I mean, all these things aren't conspiracy theories anymore. So why? Just because it's happening right now, it's not real? Well, what else isn't real, folks? Because it seems that all that Alex Jonesy stuff that we're supposed to believe is all psychobabble bullshit seems to be coming true rapidly every single day. With all my luck, I'll be taking a shit later and a pole shift is going to happen and I won't It won't be the good kind, I promise. Who the fuck knows? But I'm telling you, if it smells like a fish and it stinks like a fish and it's in the river, it's probably a fish. If it's not in the river, you get it. That's the wrong club. Listen, the government is experimenting on people. And they're making a shit ton of money doing it and transferring a shit ton of that money to big pharma, who's transferring a shit ton of that money through donations to big tech, who's transferring a shit ton of that money through donations to left-wing causes, who's transferring a shit ton of that money and power to the jackboots that will be on all of our throats if we don't do something about it. Towards the end of his interview, Malone suggested that people are in the midst of what's called mass formation psychosis, drawing parallels to the mentality that developed among the German population in the 1920s and 30s. In those years, Germans had a highly intelligent, highly educated population, and they went barking mad. When you have a society that's become decoupled from each other and has free-floating anxiety and a sense that things don't make sense, we can't understand it, and then their attention gets focused by a leader or series of events on one small point, just like hypnosis. All right, just like hypnosis. They literally become hypnotized and can be led anywhere. They will follow that person. It doesn't matter if they lie to them or whatever. Several years ago, he said people were complaining the world doesn't make sense and that we weren't connected socially anymore except through social media. Then this thing happened, Malone said, referring to the COVID-19 pandemic. That is how mass formation psychosis happens. That is what has happened here. That's what's happening right now. Folks, you have to see it. You have to look around, because why else would these people believe the big lie that the left-wing media is telling you? Why else would these people believe Joe Biden, a frail, half-dead sock puppet of a human being, lying to your face, literally telling people he got arrested during the civil rights movement, that lying sack of shit, literally telling people that if they don't believe in federalizing voting laws, that they're akin to racists from the Civil War. I mean, seriously, people believe Joy Behar? People listen to Bette Midler? People respect what Cher has to say? Hillary Clinton? Are you out of your fucking minds? Listen, these people are crazy, and mass formation psychosis definitely explains a lot of it.